Welcome back. The topic on the roundtable today, strategic planning. I know, strategic planning is not that sexy, but remember what we said earlier. The easiest future to predict is our preferred future. By now, the tried and true sayings should be running through your head. Fail to plan and plan to fail. Ron Price with Price Associates helps organizations develop clarity and achieve transforming results. Also with us today, Robin Lindsey with PETRA Incorporated, a well-known construction company here in the Treasure Valley. Ron and Robin, thank you so much for being with us today. Great topic. Ron, let's start out because I can just hear the small business owner right now. He's saying, you know what? I am too busy making sales. I'm too busy keeping the doors open and doors open and making payroll. I don't have time for this strategic planning stuff. What would you say?
Well, first of all, I tell them that the future is going to happen whether you like it or not. It will come.
True.
And those people who anticipate the future always have the advantage over those people who don't. So we can anticipate the future in a reactive way by thinking about how is the world going to act on me, or we can anticipate it in a proactive way by saying, well, what is my preferred future? What is it I would like to become? Why do I want to become that? What matters most to me? And that brings us to strategic planning. It gives us great clarity, and actually in a time of change, in a time of turmoil, I think it's even more important because it provides the anchor that keeps us steady in stormy seas.
Now, Robin, Ron helped you folks at PETRA come up with your strategic plan. Talk about the process and what it meant for PETRA.
Well, the key is the clarity that it brings to us. You know, we got together as a team, a management team. We worked together to come up with clarity, you know, creating the mission, the values of the company so that we could share that to the community and internally with all of our employees so that everybody knows the foundation of the company. And then the key to that is also the 12 to 18 month short-term plans that you come up with, and then the 5 and 10 year objectives long-term.
You mentioned the mission, and we're holding this up right now. PETRA exists to build great buildings that bring our customers' dreams into reality, to provide jobs that improve quality of life, to generate earnings, to enrich the communities in which we live, and to work in all things to honor God. That is the mission that's, people can't read it on the screen, but they can see this card. And you said this card is on everybody's desk, and it also has the values that go along with that, and that's what you're talking about.
Correct. And the key is for them to know initially, this is the foundation of our business. And so then everybody has one goal. They know what that is, and then they can work to achieve that together.
Now, Ron, you say that business owners need to go into this eyes wide open, knowing who the business is and what it's all about.
Yeah, I like to refer to it as strategic intelligence. You've probably heard the phrase emotional intelligence, which talks about how well we understand ourselves and how well we interact with others. Well, in strategic intelligence, it's having a crystal clear picture of what your strengths and limitations are as a company, and then understanding the market in which you serve or in which you're trying to be successful, and learning how to blend those two together to create the best return on investment. So ultimately, strategic intelligence is about getting the most bang for your buck.
And it's the inside and the outside.
It's knowing how to blend those two together that makes all the difference.
So, Robin, let's talk about that inside, that internal and external, and the blend, and what that meant for PETRA.
Well, you have to know your target market. What are you looking to achieve? What type of projects are you looking to build? Who are your customers, and who are you looking to meet? And so we're looking at that and how to achieve that best, the brand recognition in the community, making sure that you're meeting the community and meeting the needs that the community has as a whole. And also you're looking at internally, how is the operation going to do that? So you're looking at achieving that and blending that together. And by knowing the plan, knowing the strategic plan, you're able to do that.
And you know, Dale, oftentimes an outside person helps to shed some light on that. For instance, with PETRA, I looked at what they were doing, and I said, these folks have got phenomenal systems. They actually could be doing a lot more work than they're doing right now because they have these tremendous project management systems in place for their buildings that they're building. And they didn't recognize how much better they were than a lot of others. So having somebody on the outside sometimes helps you to recognize your strengths or your limitations in a way that you wouldn't have seen them yourself.
Great example. And they often say water is the last thing a fish recognizes because it's in it all the time.
Right.
And so that's the case in what we're talking about here. Now, you mentioned earlier the constant flux and state of change that we're experiencing in the economy. Let's talk about the necessity to have flexibility built into a plan.
Yeah, this is where oftentimes strategic planning gets a bad name because we say we've built this plan, we put it on the shelf, we never pay attention to it, or we built this plan and all of a sudden things change in the environment around us and it's no longer relevant. Well, that just means that it wasn't a well-built strategic plan, because a great strategic plan begins with who you are, who your customers are, what they want, what it is that you can do better than anybody else, and how you can make the optimal contribution in your business. And then you adapt the tactics, the operational part of your strategic plan based on the current realities on the ground. So when you've got this great base built, you can build around it based on the way change is taking place.
And if anybody has seen dramatic change due to the economy in the last year, it has been the construction industry. So how have you been flexible in adapting?
Well, by knowing what your objectives are in the 5 and 10 year plan, you know that you have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which he talked about earlier. And so a threat is going to be the economy. And we're looking at that, and we were ready, we were prepared, we were, I guess, anticipating, if you may, that this was coming. So we were able to plan for it. And I think the best way to say it is we saved our nuts up for winter. And so we're prepared and moving forward as it comes out.
Robin Lindsey with PETRA Incorporated, Ron Price, Price Associates, and it's price-associates.com for more on this. You have some articles written on that website as well about strategic planning. So it's a great resource for our businesses in the community. Thank you both so much for being with us today. And coming up next, we're going to take a look at Edward Jones and why the dedication of its employees have set it apart from the rest of the companies in the Treasure Valley.